I'm Jessica Cha in Austin. A possible new name for one of Austin's most recognizable streets. City officials are considering a new name for Cesar Chavez Street. KVU's Shay Lawson spoke with the business owner about the potential impact.
The city is asking Austinites whether Cesar Chavez Street should be renamed.
If the name changes, how will that impact you directly?
This has been an intentional effort to make sure that we're elevating the voice, not just of the city at large, but the folks who live and work on or near this street.
The discussion comes after sexual abuse allegations against labor leader Cesar Chavez surfaced earlier this year.
Total shock, total disappointment. We do recognize and acknowledge his leadership role.
Austin's Equity and Inclusion Department held the second community meeting Saturday. The city estimates renaming the street could cost anywhere between $400,000 and over $1 million. Some at that meeting questioned the cost, saying that money could go towards schools or addressing homelessness.
So hopefully the discussion of tabling this expense will be discussed and how to better use our tax money.
For businesses like Luis Angelos along Cesar Chavez, a new street name could also mean changing addresses, signs, and other materials.
I'll definitely have to, print out some new marketing materials and change our business cards, so there'll be some costs.
But he says those costs won't stop him from supporting a change.
I think it's an important gesture to show that no matter who you are, if you commit these crimes that are unforgivable, that you'll be held accountable.
The interim equity officer says hearing from the people who live and work along Cesar Chavez is a key part of the process.
We thought it was absolutely imperative not only to have representation from both our residents and our business owners, but for them to be able to hear from each other, right, about what the potential impact could be.
If the street does change, Angelos says one thing needs to stay the same.
As someone from Venezuela, I took a lot of pride having a Hispanic name on this street, so I hope that the name that is chosen keeps some of that cultural heritage.
The discussion isn't over. One final virtual community meeting is set for next week. In Austin, Shay Lawson, KVU News.
She's helped lead Austin through some of its biggest challenges while quietly facing one of her own. City Council member Vanessa Fuentes is sharing a very personal story just months after welcoming her first child. She recently announced she's being treated for breast cancer, and through it all, she says her daughter is the reason she'll keep going. Quita Culpepper shares her story.
You never know what someone is fighting. I think
While preparing to welcome her first child, Vanessa Fuentes was also getting ready for the fight of her life.
hearing cancer was just such a jar to the system.
Stage 2, breast cancer. The Austin City Council member was 7 months pregnant when she felt a lump.
I haven't hit 40 yet, and I'm pregnant. This must be a clogged milk duct.
She got it checked, and soon, the results.
I was at City Hall in a meeting, and I could see on my phone that there were multiple calls coming in, and I saw it was my OB-GYN, and then it was my primary care doctor, and then it was, the place where I got my biopsy. And when I saw those calls coming in, I was like, this is not good news.
HER2 positive breast cancer. It's more aggressive than other types, so time was of the essence.
They mentioned that at this point we're just gonna. I had a scheduled induction, so we're just going to move forward with that, and try not to think about this deadly disease that's in your body at the same time.
Days after giving birth, Fuentes began chemotherapy. Surgery is next.
For me, it was important to take the most aggressive treatment plan because of my little one, because I have someone that I am fighting for and who I want to be with.
Cancer's scary, pregnant or not.
Dr. Amy Mackey is with Texas Oncology.
About 1 in 3,000 women who are pregnant will end up with a breast cancer diagnosis, so that's super rare.
This is an ultrasound.
Dr. Mackey says pregnancy can make breast cancer harder to spot.
Your breasts are starting to get ready for breastfeeding, and so they can start to become engorged, they can get larger. Usually these are going to be symmetrical things. You want it to happen on both breasts. If you feel a lump that's different than something that you feel on the other side or something that wasn't there a few weeks ago, I would always bring that up with your OBGYN.
Fuentes agrees.
At the beginning, I was really frustrated that what was supposed to be this special, incredible time with the newborn, I now have to manage and navigate cancer treatment.
And listening to her body.
I really think about just how important that early detection is.
Means she's now looking ahead to the future with Vivian.
I also hope that she knows that she's incredibly loved, because in what has been one of the hardest times in my life, what keeps me going is knowing that I have incredible community standing alongside me, who has been there with us. And with my little one, certainly I know who I'm fighting for.
That was Quita Culpepper reporting. Fuentes says her cancer journey is also giving her a new perspective on Austin's healthcare divide and strengthening her determination to help others navigate the system and get the care they need. And for our last story, for many people, golf is a weekend hobby, but for two Central Texas women, it's the center of a friendship that's lasted nearly 5 decades. Michael Courier shows us why they say the game has given them far more than a scorecard.
So you want us to try to put it?
You make this putt.
For Mary Lou Bledsoe and Nolette Butler, golf was never about trophies.
There you go.
All right.
It was about the people.
It's always been just for fun, games, things like that. Be with your friends, that type of thing.
Kind of like part of your life now.
They met through the Women's Golf Association.
Do it again.
And have been sharing fairways ever since.
You just want her to show off twice in a row.
Ask them how many rounds they played together, and the answer?
Oh, Lord, no.
No.
When they first picked up a club, the game looked very different for women. They say female golfers had to fight for opportunities.
One of the things we fought for, well, there were two things. One was the demerit room to get to go in there, only men go in. And we could not play golf on Saturday, which we fought and got.
And after all these years, all the fights, they keep coming back.
What has kept you playing golf still for so long?
The good Lord. That's true.
Oh, yeah, you just want to do it, that's all.
I gave it to you.
Okay.
At 99 years old, they may play fewer holes than they used to, but their love for the game and competition never fades.
It's just fun. They separate us when we play.
It's fun. It's
better that way.
Yeah. It's doing your own thing. You just want to play well yourself.
Thank you very much.
Are we good?
Are you trying to end this?
Thank you.
Are you trying to end this? Come on now. You know it's okay.
Michael Courier, KVUE News.
That's all from us in Austin. Have a great day.
Let's take a look at today's headlines from Houston. I'm Cheryl Mercedes. Terror filled a Northeast Houston street Friday when a shirtless man with a rifle opened fire on drivers. Our Matt Doherty spoke with a witness who law enforcement says likely protected others.
David Davis said he just opened the doors to the restaurant shortly before 11 o'clock this morning.
A couple customers was like, man, there's a guy out here shooting at the car, so I just went out. I thought he was playing.
He wasn't playing, as you can see. Davis did everything he could to stop the cars from continuing up Wayside Drive as the man in fishnet pantyhose and an automatic rifle moved closer.
He shot at every car that came down Wayside. Every car.
Stop! Stop!
The first vehicle to get hit was this black Infiniti. The driver was shot in the thumb. I spoke with him earlier. He told me he's going to be okay. Behind him was this car with a mother and her children inside. The mom and one of her kids were shot. They made it to a nearby fire station, and luckily, they're expected to be okay as well. Davis says police arrived quickly.
As soon as the laws covered that house, he started opening firing on the police officers.
Wayside on St. Louis. He may or may not be hit. There's been a bunch of shots fired. He may or may not be laying down on the front porch in the doorway.
The gunman was shot multiple times by police. He is still in the hospital. Police say if it wasn't for Davis warning the other drivers to turn around this morning, this could have been much worse.
Don't go that way. That just shut up that car.
Davis agrees and says it was clear the shooter had one objective:
to hurt and kill.
That was Matt Doherty reporting. A Houston family is in mourning after a beloved mother was killed in a shooting. Long will say that it's happened as she was trying to help a friend escape a domestic violence situation. The family identified the woman as 44-year-old Rosalind Williams. She's one of 4 people who was shot on Saturday morning outside a home along Fairland Drive in South Houston. Michelle Choi spoke with her children.
For hours behind this crime scene tape, a family waited, hugged, and consoled one another after a night that ended with the death of the woman they identify as 44-year-old Rosalind Williams.
She was just the party of the room. She just bring light into any room.
Her children sharing these pictures with KJ11 says Williams, a mother of 2 and grandmother of 2, was vibrant, always moving, and always willing to help. And they say that's exactly what she was doing early Saturday morning. According to her family, Williams, her husband, and another woman went to help a friend involved in a domestic violence situation, bringing her back here to their home. Police confirmed there had been an altercation earlier in the night involving a woman and her boyfriend.
They had some kind of altercation. He left and returned to the residence with a firearm, ultimately discharging it, striking the 4 people. He fled the scene on foot.
Williams was killed. Her family says the other 3 people shot included her husband, the friend they were helping, and another woman. All 3 were taken to the hospital. Police said her husband was in critical condition while the 2 women appeared stable.
Boom, just real loud. Boom, 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 boom.
Neighbor Mrs. Robertson says those gunshots woke her up just before 3 a.m. She later learned Williams, who had just visited her days ago, had died.
We went to the store and just awful.
Homicide detectives worked the scene for hours. The family's silver car left with shattered windows and bullet holes, a haunting reminder of what Williams's children say happened as their mother tried to help someone else.
Even in the late hours, she went to go save somebody.
Williams would have turned 45 next month, and as investigators search for the man they believe opened fire, her family wants justice.
Justice will be served. It may not be today, tomorrow, next week, and next month, but you don't get away with this type of crime.
While holding on to the time,
we're just grateful that we was able to spend the time that we did have with her.
They did have with their mom.
Your grandkids love you. We love you. We'll never forget you.
In Southeast Houston, Michelle Choi, KHOU 11 News.
A concerned parent shared this video of what he says is a Waymo making an illegal left turn in a school zone, hitting nearly another driver. This video was taken Thursday morning outside Field Elementary School. Waymo claims its driver thought the vehicle was to its left and it was immobilized, so it made a, quote, funky turn. They say the vehicle followed all its protocols, but the father who shared this video is concerned the technology can't keep up.
It's like you would think that they could kind of program it to avoid school zones, like whenever it's drop off or pickup time.
Waymo spokesperson added the vehicles are able to detect school zones and try to avoid them unless the pickup or drop off is for the ride is nearby. Well, some skydivers are proving that age is just a number as they attempt to break a world record. Ron Trevino jumped on the story.
In the skies over Roche Sharon, a small plane returns to Skydive Spaceland Houston after dropping off some jumpers.
What's it like up there? I mean, it's hard to explain it. It's really exciting while you go up there.
Like these jumpers from the group Skydivers Over 60, as in over the age of 60. They like to break records and they want to break one here next week.
I am the lead organizer for this event. This was my idea. I put it together. I invited all the people.
Rich Delgado of Houston, he's been jumping for 31 years, a proud member of Skydivers Over 60.
So Skydivers Over 60, is this letting the world know that there is life after 60?
Absolutely.
Asking for a friend.
Absolutely, yeah.
Skydive Spaceland will host more than 30 skydivers from all over the country as they attempt to break the world record for the largest full break sequential skydive of athletes age 60 and up. It's a multi-formation skydive.
And then one last formation, if we're really doing good.
Piece of cake.
Yep.
This place is full of gear, I'm intrigued. Why not give this jumping thing the college try?
Who says you're too old to dive? Who says that? That's a little big.
It's a little big. And we're off to the friendly skies. Will they be friendly skies, though?
So they're going to attempt to break the record on the 17th, 18th, and 19th. They might even break it on the first day. The public is invited here at Skydive Spaceland. All right, Richard, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, here we go. Here we go. What, you actually thought I was going to jump? I'm not going to jump. Not above the skies of Rocheron. Ron Trevino, KHOU 11 News. How'd that work, Richard? Perfect. All right, let's get out of here. Come on.
All right, that's a wrap of your Houston headlines. I'm Cheryl Mercedes.
Hey there, Texas meteorologist Trevor Burchett with a check of your statewide weather forecast. It has been much of the same. It's going to be much of the same here for the middle of August. High pressure is firmly in control of our weather statewide for the most part. That means we are staying hot, we are staying humid, and rain chances, they are going to be few and far between, at least for most of the state. Couple of areas could see some rain showers, maybe even some thunderstorms over the next couple of days. Checking out the regional forecast, first thing you notice there is the heat. Starting off the week on Monday, mid-90s for a lot of areas. Some spots already flirting with 100. Austin at 103 for Monday. Dallas at 103 as well. Waco checking in at 104 on Monday. Notice, though, it just gets worse through the week. You look at Tuesday, statewide high temperatures close to, if not over 100 degrees. We'll get 102 in Austin on Tuesday, 104 in Waco, 100 for Lubbock and San Antonio. And the news just keeps getting worse as we get into Wednesday. 103 up in the Panhandle in Amarillo, 101 in El Paso, 100 in Houston, 101 in San Antonio. And again, notice sunshine for nearly everybody. So those rain chances are going to be very, very low and very isolated. That means we are just going to continue to be hot. Monday evening, hot for everybody. Some spots still in the 100-degree range by about 5:30 on Monday. Again, this is going to build through the week. So Monday is going to be hot. Tuesday is going to be hotter. Wednesday, likely hotter than that. Look at Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. 103 in Dallas, 102 Texarkana. Some spots even higher than that. Of course, the heat index gonna be even higher than that. Monday's forecast, sunny and dry for nearly everybody. Again, we've been talking about 100 to 105 on the actual temperature. Tuesday, much of the same, sunny, hot and dry. 102 in San Angelo, 103 for Waco, 101 in Tyler. All thanks to high pressure that's going to stay parked right there. That keeps us mostly dry and mostly hot. Now notice Monday afternoon up in the Panhandle, Amarillo, Lubbock, up along the Red River. We could see a couple of thunderstorms up there. Very isolated chance, but the rest of the state likely to stay dry on Monday. Tuesday, I think everybody's dry. Wednesday, the same thing. Rain chances few and far between. That is going to keep us very hot. You can actually see on the rain totals where high pressure is. It kind of blocks out the rain. The exception will be the Panhandle. Isolated rain chances this week. And then down there along the Gulf, maybe some coastal showers, especially as we get toward Thursday and Friday. But overall, the pattern here in Texas is sunny, hot, and dry through the next work week.
I'm Simone Simpson, and this is the news in San Antonio. A mystery on the southwest side. A man is shot in the chest, but police say they have no shooter, no weapon, and no idea where the shooting happened. Police found the man just after 4:30 Friday afternoon along the 3000 block of Weir Avenue. Officers say the victim, a man in his 20s, was walking down the street with a gunshot wound to his chest. But here's what has the police puzzled. There was no weapon, no blood trail, and no sign of an actual crime scene.
We have a young adult male in his 20s. He said he was shot. It was somewhere in his chest going through. He's not really being cooperative. He's giving us very vague information, just saying that he was shot. He doesn't want to help us out on who, what, where. And witness said that he came from westbound. So that's all we have right now.
Man was taken to the hospital with life-threatening injuries. Police are now trying to figure out where the shooting actually happened and how the victim ended up on Weir Avenue. New video shows the moments before and after a home invasion on the east side. A woman says 3 men she met through online marketplace showed up at her home and held her at gunpoint. A neighbor sharing this video of 3 men walking to a home on the east side. Just minutes later, a woman reported being held at gunpoint after selling a speaker to the men who she met in an online marketplace. Here's KENS 5 reporter Zach Briggs.
It's 10:15 in the morning here in the Jefferson Heights neighborhood. San Antonio police say a 27-year-old woman's about to sell a speaker to someone she met online. And along the 1500 block of North Center Street, a neighbor's surveillance camera follows 3 men making their way to the seller's front door. The motion-activated camera eventually turns off. According to police, the woman wraps up the sale and begins to shut the door when the suspects force their way inside. The woman held at gunpoint as the men search the house for whatever they can steal. Her daughter also home during the armed robbery.
Minutes later, the masked individuals make their way back to the getaway car, and that's when the homeowner calls police.
It's kind of scary because like, well, I got my nephews here, I got my kids here.
One neighbor who asked we call him Rick often finds himself on Facebook Marketplace.
I do buy a lot of collectibles, and then I do sell a couple of other stuff that I like stereo equipment.
And he's always thinking about safety.
Selling stuff in there, you never know what kind of people are you gonna get.
What police say happened down the street just reinforces Rick's rules when it comes to the actual in-person exchange.
Some of them say, oh, well, I'll go to your house and go pick it up, and I go, you know, it's not an option.
SAPD recommends the public take care of their online marketplace sales at any of the police substations. They're well lit and monitored. As for the victim in this case, EMS checked her out on site for injuries since one of the suspects may have hit her with a gun. So far, no one's been arrested. Zach Briggs, KENS 5.
And this isn't the first major investigation to zero in on the same block of Center Street. In April, 31-year-old Justin Klein was shot and killed. Investigators say he was ambushed while sitting in his car. It happened just houses down from the home invasion robbery. Police say a black vehicle pulled up around 1 in the morning and multiple people opened fire. Klein died on the scene. Police say at least 80 rounds were fired. The case remains unsolved. Crime Stoppers is offering up to $5,000 for information that leads to a felony arrest. If you know anything, call 210-224-STOP. Tips can be anonymous. Barrels, barriers, and backups. That's what drivers are used to dealing with on I-10 as construction and repairs have been going on for years. As KENS 5's Jeremy Baker reports, the 3-year TechStop project is nearing completion.
Because of that construction, I do take the back roads just because, like, it's been years. Everywhere in San Antonio, I feel like they start a construction site. It's never ending, and then they start a new one somewhere else.
Construction on I-10 in the downtown area began in May of 2023, and 3 years later, it continues. TxDOT says current estimates show the project should be completed this fall. The project covers approximately 5.5 miles of I-35 and I-10 in the downtown area, with the work including resurfacing, structure repairs, and bridge joint replacements. TxDOT has this advice for drivers who have to navigate this route daily. Drivers should plan ahead, allow extra travel time, and stay alert in work zones. We encourage motorists to reduce distractions, follow posted speed limits, and watch for workers, equipment, and changing traffic patterns. Before heading out, check drivetexas.org for the latest road conditions, lane closures, and traffic impacts. Cornelio says if you're going through any construction area, including this one, to keep both eyes peeled on the road and the cars around you.
Especially when people are not paying attention, and I've seen a lot of people texting, so I know that with other things are distracting them. It's going to be very, very confusing.
Voters will find out soon whether the future of the city's Spurs Arena funding will show up at the ballot box. Voters already approved public money for a new Spurs Arena, but Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones wants some of them to vote again. At her 5th and final listening session Friday, Jones stressed last November's vote covered Bexar County's $311 million share, not San Antonio's separate $489 million. She believes city voters should have the opportunity to use their voices for the city's share, too. Supporters say let the people decide.
I think we have to have a role in this decision of our tax dollars, how they're being spent, right? We believe that this should go to the ballot. The voters should have a voice in it.
Where's our money going to? How's it being spent? Have we had a voice in any of that?
Opponents say voters already spoke and that the arena money cannot pay for basic city services. Monday, City Council decides whether to put the city's share on the November ballot. Jones needs 6 votes. At least 6 members have signaled opposition. And that's the news in San Antonio.
Hello, everybody. I'm Teresa Woodard in Dallas with a look at what's making headlines in North Texas. Fort Worth police are investigating a deadly shooting at a home. It happened on Misty Glen Court, not far from 820. Aaron Heft spoke with investigators about what unfolded at that home Saturday afternoon.
One man is dead and another in a local hospital after an exchange of gunfire here in Fort Worth. Now, I want you to take a look at this. This is what the scene looked like at the active investigation as we arrived this afternoon. We spoke to police who explained the initial 911 call came in around 3:30 this afternoon of a shooting on Misty Glen Court in Fort Worth. Police say a man who lives at the home arrived to his house and saw another man he knows was already on the property. They got into a verbal fight, but then they both began shooting at one another. The man who was on the property when the homeowner arrived was pronounced dead on scene. The man who lives at the home was also shot and was transported to a hospital in unknown condition. This is what Fort Worth police told us within the last couple hours.
A lot of people will ask, something like this, happens in my neighborhood, what should I do? I'll tell you, this is an isolated incident. It was between 2 known individuals. And again, one of the individuals should not have even been on the property because of the court order that was signed off by a judge.
Fort Worth police said the examiner's office is likely to release the name of the man who lost his life by tomorrow. In Fort Worth, I'm Aaron Heft.
School grades are out and some districts may be starting to sweat. The Texas Education Commissioner came to North Texas last week to discuss the new accountability scores. As Cole Sullivan shows us, it's a milestone for some and a warning for others.
The end of the first week of school is cause for celebration.
I had to do that, sorry.
This party has a special guest and a special purpose.
56 campuses were a C last year that are an A this year. And we're in one of them right here.
Mike Morath, the TEA commissioner, came to HEB ISD and Bell Manor Elementary Friday. This school improved 22 points in new state accountability scores released this week.
This kind of growth doesn't happen by accident, and it certainly doesn't happen because of the work of just one person or a group.
And while some districts celebrated their scores,
folks, remember, there is no American dream without public education. So thank you.
Others may be sweating theirs.
Like Thornton Elementary here in Arlington, which got its 4th consecutive unacceptable grade from the TEA. A 5th year like that puts the entire district at risk of state takeover.
An Arlington ISD spokesperson told us, quote, "We feel like the targeted improvements we're making made a difference in this past year, and that will grow with the momentum we have."
Do it, and do it with urgency, because you only get one shot at first grade. And the kids need this, and they need it now.
Morath says even schools with a strong showing can't slow down now.
We have got to work so that every year is a little bit better than the year before.
A celebration of last year's success at districts like this one, as all schools take on the start of a new year ahead. In Bedford, I'm Cole Sullivan.
If you'd like to know how your child's district fared, we've made it easy for you. Just head over to WFAA.com and you will find a link to look up any school in the state. A beloved barbecue joint just fired up its smokers again after nearly being destroyed by fire. Kevin Reese first reported on it when that fire happened. He went back to Wiley to see how the community stepped in.
Bryce, you want to get a large mac in here, please?
We paid a second visit to Jeff's Barbecue in Wiley because 1 week ago, Jeff and his wife Amanda had one very bad day. An accidental fire destroyed most of their outdoor kitchen.
Call 911.
The grills, the walls, the roof went up in flames.
We were probably only a few minutes away from it igniting the trailer.
Before firefighters could put it out.
Yeah, $22 for the pound, $10 for the sandwich.
But then people
I got myself a 3-meat plate with some ribs.
Like Ken Smith showed up.
We helped tear some stuff down on Saturday.
He was one of a couple dozen customers, neighbors, family, and friends who raised nearly $10,000, volunteered to completely rebuild the outdoor kitchen, and in less than a week put Jeff and Amanda back in business.
And Friday, they're built back better than it was before. Like beauty for ashes.
It really makes you feel loved, appreciated. It's overwhelming.
They did it because Jeff is also a church deacon in Nevada, an Eagle Scout leader, and he and Amanda always offer free lunches for people in need.
It's just a community.
So neighbors offered help in their time of need too.
All these people were just ready to pitch in and help because they're good people.
Priscilla and Mike Scott should know they're not just customers, they're also Jeff's parents.
It warmed my mama heart that the community stepped up.
You're supposed to love your neighbor. That's what we did.
Buzz number 12, give us just a few minutes here.
And because of that love, barbecue is again flying through the food truck window at Jeff's Barbecue on State Highway 78.
We were meant to remain faithful through the hard times, and that's all we can do, is do what we were called to do.
The calling now to get back to work serving the neighbors who chose to save
Thank you.
and serve them.
Here you go.
Okay.
You have a great day.
In Wiley, I'm Kevin Reese.
All 35 volunteer spots were full this weekend as Habitat for Humanity of Collin County hosted a community build day in McKinney. It was all to make major progress on a future home. But for the woman who will live there, it was about reclaiming what was lost. Here's Morgan Young.
I'm gonna get some paint on the brush.
Home can be a lot of things. For Ramona Lewis,
Well, as a kid, I played here. My son played here.
it's where her memories live.
I've been here all my life, so this is my stomping ground.
Her father owned this property on Garcia Street in McKinney. When he passed, it became hers, but it housed hardship.
My husband had a stroke and he couldn't do much anymore, and then so my house just kept deteriorating, where it became too much, where I couldn't financially fix the house up.
Ramona eventually lost her husband Larry in that house. You'd think she would have lost hope, but no.
And I can only trust in the Lord, he's leading and I'm following.
Ramona's hope is housed in her faith and supported by her community.
When Habitat came in play, it just put everything in proportion.
Habitat for Humanity of Collin County initially intended to fix Ramona's home,
Maybe just stick it right there.
but realized
Seams look good.
they needed to start from scratch. The demolition was in April. Fast forward to this.
And seeing it from being built from the foundation up, tearing down the old house and pouring slab and seeing how fast, everything has come together.
Lifted on ladders, sweating it out in the sun.
I don't know how people do it because I'm more of an AC woman.
Habitat for Humanity volunteers put a fresh coat of paint on what will be Ramona's new home.
It hasn't really hit me yet. It hasn't hit me.
We'll wait till they're done, but I think we got 99% of it.
For volunteers like Brett Quist,
It's nice to see how it starts from nothing and we get it all done.
he started doing this 16 years ago with his church and kept the mission going.
I love spending my Saturdays out here. You people think, oh, I don't have the time, but you do it once or twice, and before you know it, it becomes in your blood.
Each project, each home.
Everyone counts, right? Every little bit helps.
Because for people like Ramona Lewis, the best part about home isn't what she'll have, but what she plans to share.
Having a God-warming home where you can invite someone over, be at peace, be safe.
In McKinney, I'm Morgan Young.
Habitat for Humanity of Collin County plans to have a home blessing and a move-in next month. Good luck, Ramona. Those are your headlines from North Texas.
I'm Bill Churchwell in Corpus Christi, and here's a look at some of what's happening in South Texas. Highway 361 is seeing a string of deadly crashes, and now we know the names of 2 people killed in the latest one. The Nueces County Medical Examiner's Office has identified them as Roberto Lopez and Karen Lopez. A spot fund page created in their names say the 2 were husband and wife and parents to 6 children. The deadly crash happened Friday north of Beach Access Road number 3. Authorities say it involved 4 vehicles after the at-fault driver rear-ended a car ahead of them. Their deaths are adding to a growing call for safety improvements along this stretch of Highway 361.
More awareness needs to be brought because, 2 accidents in 1 week. Someone needs to do something about it. A lot of families come here all throughout the year to vacation and see the beach.
We'll definitely think about it next time we do head out here. Maybe try to go a different route if we do come back.
Highway 361 was shut down for about 3 hours, causing major traffic backups. In the Mathis area, Lake Corpus Christi is making a comeback, and that's bringing new life to the local economy there. An increase in water levels is drawing anglers and boaters back out to the area, giving businesses a much-needed boost. Ryan Hopper has that report.
They say a rising tide floats all boats, and at Lake Corpus Christi, one longtime business is finally seeing the water and the customers come back. The Tackle Box, a 70-year institution between Mathis and Sandia, was desperately trying to stay afloat when there was almost no water left because of the drought.
Whenever I enclosed this front porch, it added like another 350 square feet as soon as we did the lake dried up.
Paul Britton bought the business 4 years ago, seeing its decades of tradition and potential. Despite operating at a loss, he stayed open while many others closed.
I've made a lot of personal sacrifices. I've lost a lot of money over the past 2 years, and I dang sure couldn't have done it for another 2 years, no doubt.
Just like Lake Corpus Christi, his shop now seeing a renaissance, and not just for lines or bait.
All of our boating people were gone. We sell towable tubes, and 3 years ago I sold 20 of them in one summer, and this year is the first year I've sold any in like 2.5 years.
But it's not just businesses like the Tackle Box that have seen an increase in income. A local realtor tells me that many local property owners here on the lake are now looking to cash in on this renewed waterfront view.
In the last prior 3 months, I did a search on MLS for lake waterfront properties, and just the first week of August, we were already at 80 to 90% of what each prior month had done alone for the whole month.
Stargarz's business is about location, which made lakefront property with no water a tough sell.
The hardest part is taking a client to a house that has that price point because it's waterfront and there isn't any water. You go out on the pier and it's dry. But when you go out and you now take a client, it sells itself.
For now, the water's back, and with it, a little more hope for the businesses that depend on it. From Lake Corpus Christi, Ryan Hopper, 3 News.
And that is a quick look at some of what's making headlines here in South Texas.
Hi, I'm Nayeli Carrillo, and here's what's making headlines across East Texas. A tragic loss has left one East Texas family facing a future they never expected. As they grieve, they're also coming together to support one of their own and to remember a woman who meant so much to so many. CBS 19's Renee Estrada shares more.
I wish I could just give her a hug, honestly.
For Marla Jake, that hug is one of the things she wishes she could have one last time. Because just days ago, she lost her big sister, her best friend, and a piece of her heart, Sharikia Henson.
She was the best big sister we all had.
Marla says her sister was the type of person who always bragged about her family, a friend who welcomed people with open arms, and a mom who loved her 5-year-old daughter, Aurora.
And she always had a smile on her face. She was always joking. She was just a goofy person. You can always see it on her face with her dimples every time she smiled.
That smile is now a memory her family will hold on to after she was killed Friday night on FM 2138 in Cherokee County. DPS says another driver made a U-turn into her path. Her death comes months after Aurora lost her father, leaving the 5-year-old without either of her parents.
She just lost her daddy and now she lost her mama.
Aurora won't face this loss alone. They're all rallying around her as she starts kindergarten and begins to adjust to her new normal.
I just want her to know that we got her. Not just me, but there's a lot of family and friends that her parents made along the way.
That may be Sharika's legacy, the love she gave so freely, now being given back to her daughter.
And I'm just so thankful and grateful that her parents were able to do that for her.
In Rusk, Renee Estrada, CBS 19.
The Texas Education Agency released their 2026 school accountability ratings, and districts across East Texas are seeing a mixed bag of grades. The scores look at 3 areas: student achievement, school progress, and closing the gaps. CBS 19's Emily Trevino talked to 3 local school districts to see how their teachers are working hard to make sure students get the best education possible.
The accountability ratings for the 2025-2026 school year report card is in, and the grades for schools in East Texas range from A's to C's. The ratings look at 3 main areas: student achievement, school progress, and how well districts are closing achievement gaps. Lindell ISD, for example, scored an A for the 3rd year in a row.
We are proud that we're an A-rated district, and we think that's the proper reflection of our district because we're a great school system.
Surratt says the district uses state testing data to identify areas where students can improve, but a letter grade doesn't always tell the whole story. Spring Hill ISD moved from a B to an A this year, returning to a grade the district has traditionally received.
Talk a lot about getting 1% better every day, so we work hard to get better every day as a staff, and also have really high expectations of our students, and try to just provide the very best educational experiences for them that we can each and every day, be consistent in our work.
While places like Spring Hill and Lindell ISD were some of the highest scoring districts, according to the TEA, places like Gladewater, Laneville, and Nacogdoches ISD were among some of the lower graded ones.
That's not where they want to be, but to go up a grade level for both of them is just a testament. And I hope that that's the beginning for our folks to understand our kids can do this.
Nacogdoches went from a D to a C, but Burton says the district is making staffing changes and putting new systems into place to track student progress. The goal is to help determine the specific steps to improve a student's performance.
What we want to do is roll our sleeves up, find the kids where they are, and improve student by student.
For districts like Nacogdoches ISD, this year's results are both a measure of progress and a roadmap for where more work is needed. Emily Trevino, CBS 19.
That's a wrap of your East Texas headlines. I'm Nayeli Carrillo.
I'm Bailey Bates. Here are your headlines from Central Texas. The U.S. Army has now identified 2 soldiers killed in an Apache helicopter crash in Salado. Chief Warrant Officer 2 DeAndre Huey and Warrant Officer Seth Olmstead. They were both native Central Texans and both Killeen ISD graduates. Our Julieta Jackson spoke with veterans, military families, and local leaders about the 2 lives lost and how the community is responding.
It's just heartbreaking. Something like that hasn't happened here in a very long time.
Heartbreak in a community that knows military service well. June Ritterbush served 10 years in the military, flying Hueys and Black Hawks around the world and here at Fort Hood.
So many veterans around here that it hurts everyone's hearts when bad things happen.
2 military soldiers were killed while on board an AH-64 Apache when it crashed into a field on August 12th.
It impacts the troops, the ones that work with them, because they're like their brothers.
For Credit Ferry, she says Salado is filled with families who understand the sacrifices that come with service.
A lot of retired military, so it affects this village.
The crash is a reminder of the risk.
It really makes you sort of take stock. Even at home during training missions, just how dangerous that work is.
State Representative Brad Buckley says when tragedy hits, the word neighbor takes on a different meaning, and it was shown through the numerous emergency personnel who came to the scene.
Salado is an incredible community of a really patriotic citizens that, will always answer the call to help their neighbor.
As the smoke clears, attention is turning back to the 2 soldiers who lost their lives.
We know in our hearts how you feel because we've been through it, and I wish them the best. And remember, memories are the best to remember them by.
The U.S. Army has now temporarily halted all Apache helicopter training flights as it investigates the cause of the crash. Meantime, it is hot, dry, and windy outside, and all 3 qualities that create the perfect conditions for potential grass and wildfires. Our Sydney Walker has more from 2 agencies who responded to Wednesday's helicopter crash and the grass fire aftermath about doing your part to prevent disaster.
It's heating up.
We see this happen pretty much every summer.
And drying out.
We had a wet spring, and now all that grass that was growing very quickly has dried out.
Add in wind, and it's the perfect recipe for a fire.
Mix of really dry conditions now with a higher fuel load gives way for serious wildfires.
Fires that our first responders have to put out.
What actually sparks that is any number of things. It could be improperly discarded smoking materials. It could be maybe somebody grilling and some ash or some coal fell out of their grill.
It just takes one spark.
9 out of 10 wildfires are actually human caused. So that means that we can prevent 9 out of 10 wildfires.
From things we may not even think about.
They get a little bit careless, and they may not mean to.
A simple accident or old habit.
Maybe they cook out for the weekend on a grill. They dump their coals typically in their normal spot. Well, in the hotter, drier conditions, that could go ahead and spark a fire.
Like burn piles.
People burning debris or burning trash during a burn ban, or even if there's not a burn ban, just when it is very dry.
Outdoor equipment like lawnmowers or hay balers.
Making sure you have a water source nearby if you're cutting or welding, doing anything outside is very important.
And making sure your car is in good shape, like brakes and exhaust in check.
Anything on your vehicle that touches the road while you're moving is probably going to cause a spark.
Just think twice while it stays hot, dry, and windy.
The best way to avoid some of that is just be mindful of what you're doing.
All great tips. Those are your headlines from Central Texas.